Right? Yeah, Shalom, Shalom. And this is Brother Ira back at you once again in another lesson. And this is various topics. I'm just, freestyle it, And yeah, I like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kakwadash, Damas to the Apostle Great Millstone, Shalom to the Hopeful Elect. Yes, we know tomorrow, later on today, tonight, at 7:30 will be the Passover. It's a lot of things going on. The pink moon, and tomorrow, later on the day. So it's gonna hopefully all hell break loose, man, after this Passover, man. I hope this be the last one. Wars going on. Trump just sending troops over there to Iran, over there in the Middle East to fight. The draft is gonna pop off, so the MOTB is right around the corner, man. We gotta push the truth, we gotta push the prophecies coming out in the power of the enemy, how about Shem Yahshua, man. So we almost at the end of this, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna get right into it. Don't want to waste no time. Various topics, you know. We got Jake still tripping out here. The B Dub, the black woman, out here wilding. We got all these disease. The Lord said He's gonna smite Egypt with the plagues of before, and and we go into that, man. Like the Egyptians had boils on their body. You see that today, man, because we had cats going out to that spring break in Texas. A few cats, and they said one Jake had boils, warts all over his body from out there having wild sex, man. You know, then you said the plague of darkness is coming. It's gonna happen in AKA Babylon the Great as well. So, it's gonna be a lot of things going on. We're gonna plague America, AKA Babylon the Great, man. So let's get into some of these articles. Hmm. Bear with me. Wow. There we go. So yeah, tomorrow. Let's say, yep. So later on, the moon will be officially full at 10:13 p.m. EDT and 7:13 p.m. PDT on Wednesday, April 1st, and will be best seen appearing in the east at the time of the moonrise. Where you are, the moon will also appear bright and full on February 2nd. Okay? All moon, a full moon always look like the best when it's appear eastern horizon during the dusk. The sight is at the most dramatic when the moon appears very close to sunset, rising into fading to daylight during the blue hour to provide dramatic contrast. Exactly what what happens this month in North America, right? So it's all right. So it's good. So now it's a how-to star hope to Spica and the pink moon. Spica, which will be close to the pink moon this year, can be easily found in the spring and summer in the northern hemisphere, using a popular star hope as the pink moon rises and it gets dark. Look to the northeast for this Big Dipper, which will be standing on it, handling tracing the handle a curved line of stars to go to Arcturus, arriving at the next bright star in that night sky, low in the east from bright Arcturus. Speed on to Spica, darting along the horizon to the bright star just below the pink moon. Woo. Right, let's get some more articles. All right, refer to the pink flower in the North America, which blooms at the time of these years. So yeah, we know. So it said it's all these. You see, it's showing this. So this will be tomorrow on the Passover. Well, later on the day. I mean, Salaki. Later on the day, pink moon, which is the blood moon. Scripture's talking about that. Let's get it. Hmm. We'll get the book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 20. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great notable day of the Lord. So for the great day of the Lord. So you had a lot of those blood moons throughout these years, man, right? But it's coming at the Passat, which is the Passover later on the day. So he said for that great and notable day of the Lord, right? The book of Acts, chapter 2, verse 20. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before that great and notable day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass, when whosoever shall call in the name of the Lord shall be saved. So those four we should be called in the name of the Lord shall be saved. That means what's the name? Yahweh Bashem Shah. Let's get that. We're gonna prove that. The book of Acts. The book of Acts, chapter 4, verse 12. Right? The book of Acts, chapter 4, verse 12 says this. Neither is there salvation. He said, neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. It tells you right here. Let me just read Acts chapter 2, verse 20. And the sun shall be darkened. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before that great and notable day of the Lord come. It shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. So whoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. We just read in Acts 4 and 12 said, neither is there salvation in any other. For there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby you must be saved. So there is no other name. So you won't get delivered in the name of Jesus the Christ or God or Allah, Yahshua, Joshua, or Yahweh. It's Yahweh and Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, right? So only those names you will be delivered from. Call those names. The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 31. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great terrible day of the Lord. So we just read in Acts 2 and 20. Joel, chapter 2, verse 31, said the same thing. Right? Revelation chapter 6, verse 12 and 14. And I held, he said, and I beheld, when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, and the hair of the moon became as blood. So we see this right here, right? Sixth seal is what? Destruction, right? And we seen it right here. Now let's get some other. Right? So we got a list of plague of Egypt. Right? So these are plagues of Egypt that happened in the past, right? So we're going to get them again. See, blood, water to blood, like water to blood. Now and all waters turn to blood, killing fishes. Frogs swarm and ran entering the homes bed up in ovens. Ooh, gnats and or lice crawling from the dust, which magicians could not replicate. Right? Flies, wild animals, swarms of flies, of wild animals destroyed the land. Pestilence, livestock, and death. See, we're getting that right now. Livestock, you know, death. So that's going, lately we've been hearing about farms being mysteriously caught on fire, killing, animals and farm animals. You know what I'm saying? Pestilence, man. See, gnats or lice crawled from the dust, which magicians could not replicate. Flies and wild animals, swarms, flies, wild animals destroyed the land. Pestilence, livestock deaths, see, fatal diseases killed Egyptian domestic animals. We've seen that. We hear about those things, right? Boils, painful boils. Sores afflict the skin of Egyptian and animals. Woo! Wow. We just see hell and fire. Fiery hell destroy crops and trees, and we just seen that. Let's get that. We're gonna go back to the boils too. Mm. Okay. AI overview. It said early 2026, catastrophic wind-driven wildfire across the U.S. plains and Midwest, par- particularly in Nebraska, Kansas, and Oklahoma, destroyed significant acreage, crops, and cattle in largest the 640,000 acres Morel fire in Nebraska during March 2026 is the state largest ever fueled by the service drought in the high. So we just read it, right? Those are the plagues of Egypt, Nebraska plains, March 2026, over 640,000 acres were scorched with what? Morel fire, destroying rangeland, feed, and farm infrastructure. Other major fires, including Road 203, Anderson Bridge fires, Kansas, Oklahoma, February 2026. The Rangers Road fire rages ravaged over 283,000 acres of farmland in February, impacted cattle operation, caused drought conditions and high winds were the primarily driven drivers of these early years wildfires. Impact statewide burn ban was issued in Nebraska and state of emergency declaration were made in both Nebraska and Oklahoma due to widespread agriculture devastation. See, we just read one of the plagues of Egypt. See, these things is happening. This is how we know we had to end. The Lord said, I'm gonna get that. He said, I'm gonna plague Egypt as before. Watch. The book, the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt plagues as before. Wild destroy all the land thereof. See, we just read it right there. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 11. Right? He said, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. Wild will destroy all the land thereof. So the Lord said, we just read it, Nebraska, Oklahoma, what else? Nebraska, Oklahoma, Kansas. He said he destroyed all the land, man, before me. It's gonna be a lot more, just them, right? So let's get some more. So now let's deal with the boils, painful boils and sores afflicted the skin of Egypt and their animals. Wow. So let's get something. Let's see if we can find that picture. It's called YouTube. Washington. Vegetable oils of the skin, feature people and animals. On right there. Professional arm and strength with legs as before. But on the see? That the Egyptians were fighting. that? See, this is one of the main plagues, man. Not playing. This how we know this Bible is real. You got clowns like the one the Bible was a white man book. Your Bible face, man. The nigga is a fairy tale. The Bible ain't a fairy tale. A Negro is a fairy tale. You know a Negro was made in America. Wow. You can't make this up. It's right in here. It said he's going to do it again. He said he's going to smite Egypt again. How we know this is Egypt, right? Again, you go to Deuteronomy 28, man. Go back to the what? Second law. Let's get it. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and thou shalt be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Right? You know, we didn't come in Egypt the first time on the ships, we walked. This is talking about a spiritual Egypt, which is Babylon Great. So many attributes of this place is what you call America today. That's how we know this is Egypt. So he Lord said, I will smite Egypt again with plagues, you know what I'm saying, as before. Right? Now, you put the blood on, back then we had to put the blood post on the house door, on the house, on the front door, so the death could pass, that dark angel could pass over, that death angel. We're doing it in the spirit this time. Why? In his word, right? Let's get that in Ezekiel. He said, mark those that sigh and cry. Ezekiel 9 and 4. Book of Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city the book of Ezekiel chapter 9 verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the forehead of the men that sigh, that cry for all the abominations, and be done in the midst thereof. Right? Now, that mark is the name, right? The mark of Egyptian, man. So we won't be destroyed by the death angel, which is Yahweh Shah, man. All these calamities that are about to come on America will be passed over. MOTB, the hour of temptation, are going to be passed over. Lord's going to make sure he's going to keep us from us. Keep that from us, right? So we already covered by the blood of Yahweh Shah. Spiritually this time, we ain't got to put a physical lamb blood on what we're doing. Is spiritually, we mark. Our head is our doorpost. You know what I mean? Our mind. We marked this already. And I hope to be marked with that, zipping that the wise myself. Right? So he said he's gonna smite Egypt with plagues before, man. You can see it, man. So all these times it's coming up, the blood moon, you know what I'm saying, which is pink right now. That's later on the day, man. So we at the end of this, man. Rumors of wars, right? Get Matthew 24. We gotta keep bringing this up repetitively because you never know. We get new watchers. They gotta know this. Let's get it. of the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Because why? We wait for the last one, the MOTB. Now you hear about the wars over there, Iran, and Donald Duck just said, what's it, 50,000 troops or something like that over there. He sent some other troops over there. Now you hear about Iraq, and all these other countries is popping up, about to join in this battle. So yeah, and, WW3 is almost here. Is actually here. It's the beginning stages of it. Now we're waiting for Jacob's trouble, right? So all these things might pop off after what you call pop the Passat, man, after the Passover. Let's get Jeremiah 30. All these plagues, the Lord about to smite this place, man, and deliver us like he did back then when he was coming out of Egypt. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. Start at 6. Ask ye, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 6. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness. At last, that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's that? He. That's the 1/3. That's the elect. They're going to be saved. That 2/3 of our people is not going to be delivered. And this time, they're not going to be covered by the blood of Yahweh, right? They're going to go down this place, man, because they care for this world, man. Just like I made a lesson earlier about how, people ignoring this word, they're not taking it seriously, man. They how 2/3 of our people just walk past us, and then they're not considering, man, this is the end, man. We at the end, man. We literally at the end of this, man. That's why our lesson was called "Don't Wait." It said, "Do not wait until the last minute to repent." That's the lesson. The first lesson I did yesterday, earlier. Do not wait at to the last minute to repent, because a lot of people don't wait till the last. Our people gonna wait till the last minute until trying to repent, trying to get delivered. It's gonna be too late. The doors of mercy are gonna be shut. Right? Let's read it again. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 7. At last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it, man. You got the ICE agents out there now at the airport giving checks. And, somebody posted up, I think it was on Instagram or on YouTube on a post about even at the military ceremonies graduation, you got ICE is checking people there, man. Trump's stupid, man. You should be trying to get allies. You sitting there trying to find immigrants to arrest them and put them in concentration camps. You dumb. How would you do that? You need all the help that you need to fight this war. You want to do that dumb shit. It's like to let you know this man is upside down. He's backwards as fuck. Yeah, I said it. Right? And hold on. Then you heard about, ICE agents building new concentration camps, facilities. And then they said, I don't know if it's true, but they put chips stationed right inside of it. So yeah, you already know what they're trying to do. So if they catch you slipping, it could be Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom, whoever. If they catch you slipping on whatever charges, hey, every time they're gonna say, hey, you can leave, you gotta get this. You gotta get this chip so you can go back to society. Because this is gonna be a major Black Swan event gonna happen. And yeah, they're gonna deem everybody some terrorists. Even though you're not, you could be a working citizen. They're gonna snatch you up and take you back to the base and be like, hey, the only way you can go home, you take this chip so we can track you, or or you need to come at your job. Hey, you got to take this. If you don't, we're going to lock you up. We're going to take you. We're going to escort you out this at your job building and take you to the prison. And the only way you're going to get home is you take the chip. If you don't take it there, they're going to put you in. They're going to lock you up. They might do that. We don't know how they're going to come with it. You know, they say it's going to come up people unawares. Right? So all prophecies is coming to pass, man. Famine, man. Let's get that. Suddenly the food should be found empty. We hearing about a lot of that lately too. Let's get that. Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 22 to start. The book of Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 22. This book of Second Ezra chapter 6, verse 21. And the children of the year of old shall speak with their voices. The woman with child shall bring forth untimely children of 3 or 4 months old, and they shall live, be raised up. And verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Now when I went to some of these supermarkets, man, you could tell, man. I went to Rite Aid today to get some stuff. Yeah, that place looked like that looked kind of empty up there, man. I went to a couple of supermarkets, these past few days, man. Place is looking real naked in there, man. You know, and there's rumors going around saying that probably around June or sometime September, man, it's gonna be a full, like, some of these stores gonna be totally empty, man. It's not gonna be restocked. So things is happening, man. Only people that's gonna eat is the elect. If you ain't of the elect, if you ain't the most high sheep, you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna eat, man. Right? Let's see, let's get that. I'm gonna see, you know. So now I'm gonna get it up here, so I don't want y'all to think I'm lying. Huh. right? So AI overview reports from early 2026 indicates that sporadic empty grocery store shelves, primarily driven by panic buying ahead of severe weather events in January, ongoing strategic shift in product availability rather than a systematic total food shortage. Key finding early 2026. I'm just going to get to the point. So these are disappearing items in March 2026. By March 2026, reports emerged that the specific products are quietly disappearing from the shelves. This is largely driven by assortments, rotationalization, where retailers reduce product varieties to focus on high performance items, cutting slower selling or less profitable product to optimize space. Supply chains, economic factors, retailers, suppliers have noted that potential new tariffs, such as those that Canada and Mexicans imported, could lead to further shortage and prices increase, particularly in the fresh produce. Systematic steps, despite the shortage, specific popular imports, item national groceries up supply chains are still generally described as strong rather than collapsing with their empty spaces, largely resulting from logistical delay, storm, or corporate merchandising changes. Yeah, they say that, but as you can see, prophecies don't lie. The Bible don't lie. It said it's going to be a food shortage.
Tired of boring news? Here's Gen Spark AI Pods. Come and create your unique podcast.
News to pod. Have you ever left a grocery store with full bags and still felt something was off? Not because you forgot anything, but because
Fair
the
use,
ingredient
fair
you
use.
relied on was simply
Fair
gone.
use, fair
It
use.
wasn't more expensive, it wasn't out of stock. It had quietly disappeared. I realized this one afternoon when a familiar ingredient I use every week was nowhere to be found. It wasn't a staple like rice or milk, and it wasn't costly. Just a small, easy to overlook item. Yet without it, the whole meal felt off, like a tiny piece missing from a system that usually works perfectly.
Fair use, fair use.
This isn't about price hikes. It's about 12 everyday items slowly vanishing from shelves, quietly, without announcements, yet capable of subtly disrupting how your meals come together. 12. Canned black olives. In the world of grocery retail, products don't usually disappear because people suddenly stop needing them. More often, they vanish because they no longer align with an updated profit model or financial strategy. Canned black olives are landing squarely in that situation. From a supply chain standpoint, any product that stays on the shelf has to meet three basic requirements. It needs to sell quickly enough, generate a healthy profit margin, and depend on a supply chain that can adapt when conditions shift.
We've always believed that sport has the power to change lives. It's happened here for decades. Community happens here. Sport happens here. The all-new Dick's House of Sport.
Right now, olives are struggling to hold their ground in all three areas. Agricultural expenses, especially those connected to water usage, continue to climb. On top of that, processing and canning costs are steadily increasing as well. At the same time, canned olives don't move nearly as fast as snack foods or beverages, which tend to dominate shelf turnover. As retailers fine-tune and optimize limited shelf space, slower selling yet still practical items are often the first to be cut. It's not necessarily about usefulness, it's about performance metrics. Meanwhile, producers are redirecting their operations toward bulk contracts, industrial packaging, and high-volume, fast-moving goods. When manufacturing capacity tightens, standard retail-sized products become the simplest option to phase out. This shift doesn't trigger an immediate emergency. Instead, it creates a subtle but noticeable void. Picture a common scenario. A few days without power, no quick trip to the store, and meals reduced to pantry basics like rice, pasta, or beans. These staples provide calories and carbohydrates, but they're naturally low in fat. Without adequate fat intake, the body has difficulty absorbing fat-soluble vitamins. You might technically be eating enough, yet your energy levels dip faster, and fatigue sets in sooner than expected. Olives won't increase the volume of your meal, but they do enhance its balance. They add richness, nutrients, and a sense of completeness that
It can be scary to pursue your dream, but it's also exciting. I built a Wix website in one night, and
familiar ingredients vanish, the sense of imbalance shows up.
I have messages on Slack, Teams, WhatsApp. I gave GenSpark Claw.
Fat contains roughly
Chicken Al Pastor is back at Chipotle, where fire meets flavor. Here for a limited time. Chipotle, for real.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if you're not ready to launch your business. With Wix, you can grab yours now.
when stores begin trimming down their selection.
I don't know if that's on that thing, but
I have messages on.
let's get another one. Let's get another one. I don't know. It just went off for a minute. Let's get another one.
Strikes by Iran and stranded passengers
Variouse
are starting to
Topics.
leave the Middle East as governments rally charter flights and airlines schedule new services.
The world is focused on gas price because of the immediate impact of the war on gas price. But there are several other fronts where the problem is brewing and people are not paying enough attention to that.
Experts are warning that major supply chain issues could come as the war in Iran rages on, raising prices for you and your family.
And your reporter Owen Kingsley is live outside the Stop and Shop in Meriden to explain what impacts are on the horizon. Owen.
Well, this could be another influence on the prices at your local grocery store. Now, one expert I spoke with says that there's a 3-week mark from when war erupted in Iran that could be the tipping point. Alexa Ramirez is loading up on groceries for her family of 3. She's a new mom with a baby daughter at home.
These are from Walmart.
She has her own system to maximize her budget by going to multiple stores.
This is my 3rd one, so.
No kidding. Why is that?
Because you have to shop where the prices are right, and that's not always under one roof.
Since war broke out in Iran, the Strait of Hormuz is essentially shut down. That's where 1/3 of the world's fertilizer comes from. And we're at the start of the growing season.
So if we do not get those nitrogen fertilizers on time, that would also affect our agricultural sector.
Likely hitting you in the wallet at the grocery store.
It's always a concern. It's a big concern.
Bill Paquin lives on a fixed income. He's got a cart full of groceries that he hopes will last him a couple weeks. Now he's thinking about what his next trip to the store might cost him.
It's just going to get worse now.
When these supply chain interruptions happen, most products have about a 2 to 3 weeks worth of supply in storage before running into supply issues at local stores. After that, prices typically shoot up. For these oil-producing countries in the Middle East, they fill their storage tanks in about 3 weeks too, which means they'll stop producing oil if they can't export it.
When there is a halt in oil production, that has a psychological impact. Price will skyrocket. And also, we will run out of other inventories that we currently have. So that is why I'm worried that if the war goes beyond 3 weeks.
With the additional costs of having just had a baby, Alexa can't fathom the idea of groceries getting more expensive.
Worried that all of this is happening now that I decide to have a daughter.
Now, earlier this week, President Trump said that Operation Epic Fury was ahead of schedule, projecting that the conflict.
See? The Bible is coming to prophecies. It's coming alive, right? Let's read it again. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 22. Suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And verse 23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth it, they shall be suddenly afraid. What's that trumpet? Prophets, when we're giving off that sign off the alarm of destruction and famine is coming, pestilence. We are telling you beforehand that for years that this was going to happen. Now people starting to listen. People starting to come by the camp and inquire what's going on. People starting to see it. We had a brother come to a camp last week. You know what I'm saying? Acquiring. You know, and guess what? He came up there humble. He asked questions, and he didn't scoff. Some things he didn't believe, and we gave him the understanding, he took it. He didn't scoff against it or nothing. So that lets you know people start to take heed to what we're saying, man. They know that they're the Israelites. They know this is spiritual Egypt. They know that silver white means Esau Edom, man, that the Bible speaks of. And this kingdom is coming down, man. And he's about to come with that great wrath. So when we go into the plagues of Egypt, let's get there. Went to the livestock was dying, darkness, then for the firstborn. All your false gods is dying, you know, like a lot of these celebrities, these idols, they consider as gods because people worship them. A lot of these movie stars are passing. Idols, YouTube influencers, you know what I'm saying? Influencers are dying. Actors, rappers, football players, they dying. Because all the idols, man. Lord's taking down all your idols, man. You know, we already have water in the blood. I mean, water to the, damn blood, full of blood here. Pestilence of rats and different types of rodents, throughout the United States, throughout the world was different places, locusts attacking, flies, plague of flies and insects. Herds of wild animals and flies swarming the land, destroying everything. Livestock and pestilence, fatal plagues killed most of the domestic animals. Horses, donkeys, and sheep and other Egyptians. Royals, we just seen one brother. And even some few years ago, people was getting all types of bumps and sores around their whole body, man. Those are the plagues of Egypt, man. And we didn't get the darkness yet. That's coming next. EMP attack or cyber attack comes, gonna shut down the lights. It's gonna be dark. It's gonna be a number of violence. Civil war and all that's gonna break out. A lot of death, a lot of rape. Even babies and children are gonna die. Old people, because you, especially if you're Israelite, you're not written in the book of life to be delivered. You are not going to make it, man. Right? I'm gonna get one scripture before I close it up. Let's get Matthew 24 again. I'm gonna close it up. The book of Matthew, chapter 6. The book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See yet be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet, because the end is not yet, because we're waiting for that last prophecy, which is right around the corner. It's moving. It's at his head. It's trying to bust out. It's coming. MOTB, man. It's coming. It's right with it. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdoms. We're seeing kingdom against kingdoms, right? All these major empires are going against each other. America, especially America, is a major empire. Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. You got Iraq, Yemen, the Yemenis, all those Arab countries is riling up. Ammon. You know what I'm saying? These are the signs of the prophecies coming to pass, man, because all these nations are gathered up together. And then it's nations against nations, right? That means race wars coming. That's brewing. Like you hear, think of just recently, I think a brother just got killed or lynched recently. I think I heard that today or yesterday. I seen something like that. A cop or something did something to a brother beating him. So all these things is brewing up, man. All these are the beginning of sorrows. These are the beginning of sorrow. Let's get that. I'm going to see AI over. Okay, so the AI overview of Matthew chapter 24, verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows or birth pains, indicates that every like events like wars, earthquakes, and famine are not the final end, but necessary increasing signs like labor, contractions, preceding the end time. This mark onset of the tribulation of birth pains, a new era. See, a new era. What's new? New world order. See, new era, new world order. Right? The metaphor of labor pains, the Greek word of adunon, refers to the birth pains, implying these events will grow more frequent and intense, similar labor contraction before the birth of the new age. Refers to the nth, that birth of the new age is really talking about the kingdom of heaven. These things refer to the events of Matthew 24, verse 4 through 7, including deception by false messiahs, wars, and rumors of wars and famine. Beginning of sorrow, these events are not final climax, but the start of the period. What's the final climax? It's what the MOTB. Climax, but start of trouble. Jacob's trouble, right? Not an immediate end. Yahweh Shah states the end is not yet. This act as a warning to be ready rather than to panic. Birth pains, most accurate translation of Adonai, and the NASB, NIV, travail, labor pains similar to a woman in labor. Birth pains of the Messiah It said Jewish idiom for the turmoil before the Messianic age. See, turmoil, that's the new age that's being born, and describes the first parts of the 7-year tribulation. There ain't no 7-year tribulation. It's not in the scriptures. That's not biblical. That's why he said, I'll come quickly. That's why in Matthew 24, he said, what? We're reading it. He said, I'll shorten the days. He said, that's 22, Matthew 24, verse 22. Except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but let's say those days shall be shortened. He said, here's some 7 years. Ain't going to be no 7 years tribulation. The Lord said he's coming quickly. When the MOTB come and all that, and 2/3 get tripped up, that's when the Heavenly Father is going to come. That's why he's going to put the Spirit on these nations to sit and loose over here. So it ain't going to be no 7-year tribulation. That's off. That's a false prophet. That's a false prophet, false doctrine. So they said the beginning of tribulation described in the first parts of the 7 years. Ain't no 7-year tribulation. Context, how shall I give this response in the law of Olive after predicting the destruction of the temple? Application, it is used to study to explain the worldwide turmoil, persecutions, and natural disasters. Expect the sign, not the proof, that the end has arrived at that moment. Focus, emphasizing the preparation of that Yahweh has set bounds to suffering. Suffering, man. It's going to be a lot of suffering, man. And a lot of people just still is not really aware of what's going on, and they not being prepared. Some of these Israelite camps not preparing their congregation to be prepared. These churches not preparing their congregation not prepared. To people that's in the world that don't believe in nothing, that's not being prepared. So it's going to come up on the wares, right? And they're going to be devoured in this, man. The Lord going to allow it to happen, man. He's going to bring terrible wrath on these other nations and 2/3 of our people for what? Their unbelief. So yeah, and that's it. And this is Brother Ivory. I got you with a blessing. And I'd like to give more praises to you. I hope I shouldn't no bonus to possibly Muslim. Shalom. On to the next. And I just hope the brothers have a nice Passover day on the day, man. All praises to the how about you, I hope this is the last one. I hope we'll be out of here by the next few months from now. Praise Shalom.